Not this again. Oh, what am I doing here? Oh, hey, how are you? What the f? In my last video, I talked about a very religious geology professor in college, but in this video, I plan to take you back to my high school years. For some reason, there just seems to be such a huge difference between high school and college professors. For instance, my college professors are much more laid back, and by laid back I mean don't care about your existence whatsoever, and would always rather be at home doing literally anything else. Furthermore, my college professors are not nearly as formal to students. This is the only time I've seen a professor come in sweatpants and huge bags under their eyes, and when they're lecturing they tend to drift off to more personal stories and not bother holding back curse words. But my teachers in high school was the exact opposite. They're much more formal, care way too much about their students, and always look like they're on crack cocaine 24/7. There was one teacher that stood out to me the most, which was my high school freshman English teacher. Let's call her Miss Red, because she always had on very bright lipstick. She had problems, to say the least. This was her first year teaching, and my god, did I have so many personal grudges against the teacher in this class. Overall, she was kind of short, had black hair that was always in a ponytail, had bright red lipstick, some tattoos, always had Starbucks coffee with her, and looked like she was about in her mid-20s maybe. At first she seemed very nice, very sweet, and very talkative. So you wonder, why did I not get along with this teacher? Well, you see, I am used to having teachers talk about their personal life every once in a while, and usually when they're teaching something that reminds them of something that they have experienced. But story time with her was half the class period. She would actually start class by pulling up a chair and just yelling, "Story time!" and had everyone sit around her as she was kind of complaining about whatever relationship problem she had. He's so toxic, saying how she hates him and how immature he is, to then tell us that she got together with him the next day, saying, well, you know, second chances, huh? Except that second chance turned into third chances, then fourth, then fifth, and so on, until one day she announced that she was getting engaged. But the thing was that because of all these story times, there was not a lot of classwork being done, which means we had a lot of homework that we didn't know how to do, which turned into the majority of the class failing, which turned into her yelling at us almost every day of how she didn't understand why we were failing her class. And somehow that turned into her talking crap about her students behind other students' back, which caused a huge commotion between all our other classes. And where was I in all this, you may ask? Well, lucky for me and my antisocial and awkward ways of life, I was in the back of the class really just witnessing all of this. I got so lucky that she did not know who I was, and therefore never really got in the way of whatever drama she had with whoever she started with. I think the only time I ever stood out in that class was this one time when she took the whole day to make everyone go in a circle and sit in silence, where we did breathing exercises and these weird mindful videos. Okay, so now we're in a therapy session in my English class, and whoever decided to tell her this was a good idea needs to leave now, because that day was so unbearably uncomfortable. Probably one of the worst and hardest to sit through of the 2 hours of my life. I wish I just left, because on that day, we all had to pass around this weird wizard's cane looking stick and tell everyone what we were feeling. First off, where did she get this wizard stick, and where can I get it, because it looked really cool. But still, this was like, why did she have a wizard? She just pulled it out of her desk like it was there the whole time, like she had a secret D&D session, Dungeons and Dragons session, after class or something. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. A class full of pubescent children were going to tell other pubescent children what they were feeling. I remember seeing at least 3 girls crying their eyes out of absolutely nowhere. One trauma dump to the whole class, one of the most devastating stories I've ever heard. I'm probably not gonna repeat what she said in this video because I don't know if I'm allowed to, and also even if I was allowed to, I don't think that's a good idea. It's a lot of detailed stuff that I would rather not remember. And I just see Miss Red just sitting on that chair like she's doing us a favor and confessing all of our sins. And when that weird stick was in my hands, at first I had just like a confused and almost not disgusted, but definitely not the most appropriate face expression for this kind of situation. And I just remember saying somewhere along the lines of, yeah, I don't know what's going on, but this feels really weird and kind of stupid. Well, I'm sorry this is making you feel uncomfortable, but Ashley over there is being really brave and told everyone this traumatic story, and you're just ruining it. Well, I'm sorry. I thought this was a place where we're supposed to be honest about how we feel. Also, sorry to anyone whose name is Ashley, because there's nothing against you. That was just the first name that popped up. But you know what? I should have just stayed quiet. I could have just passed the stick down and be done with it. I don't know why I thought it was a good idea to open my mouth, because apparently whatever mood was going on in that situation, it just all went away. Everyone just stared at me like I crashed whatever was going on, which, yeah, in their defense, I kind of did. I don't know, maybe I'm just not that great of a person that has those emotions and feelings towards that kind of thing, but something about that whole situation just didn't sit right to me. Like, it all just felt really weird and so forced. But to make matters worse, the very next day when I saw Miss Red, she started having a meltdown and crying about how all of her students kept telling her their problems and she can't handle this heavy weight on her. Like, what? I swear, it was like the whole therapy session the other day never happened. Like, she didn't just tell everyone to confess all of their feelings and always come to her whenever there's a problem. You know, there's a reason why teachers and students have a line that you don't cross when it comes to personal issues and school issues, and I think she experienced through the hardest way possible one of the reasons why that line exists. Anyways, the year ended with her making this whole video next to her fireplace where she had us write our worst fears, and then she would read them out loud and burn them. I honestly can't remember what I wrote. I probably wrote something along the lines of getting good grades or something generic to get the assignment over with. But I also remember that she apparently burned her arm. Like, as she was showing us the video during class, she just like rolled up her sleeve and showed this burn mark. Anyways, before I end this video, there were two more things that had happened in that class that also felt unsettling. The first thing was that around that time, there was this trending thing that went around where my friend said it was called purple drink. I'm pretty sure that's not the name. I'm pretty sure there's like a different name for it. But basically, from what I heard, it's where you mix a bunch of random over-the-counter pills and cough syrup and whatever drug and put it all in a drink with soda. Anyways, I remember some kid in a different class of Miss Red drank it and said she didn't feel so good, so she laid her head down. But when the bell rang, she was still laying down, and when she woke her up, she was walking out the door and threw up all over the entrance. And when my class started, we were all staring at it because it literally covered the whole entrance and was a huge puddle that you had to jump over. Luckily, she was sent to the hospital and got treated, so yeah, that scared a lot of people. And the second thing was that there was this one football player that had a very weird and kind of creepy crush on our teacher. I actually still know him to this day, but man, was that kind of creepy uncomfortable, because sometimes that teacher in the class would joke about it and they'll kind of take the joke a bit far, but he genuinely really liked her and would go around talking to his friends about how much he was in love with her. Luckily, it was a phase and he was actually getting married to a cheerleader pretty soon, which I saw in one of his posts, so congratulations. Overall, I didn't really learn anything in that class. I don't really think she taught any English, but I certainly had a story to come out of it. Once again, I'm probably gonna make another part 4 for my teachers, so I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe.